Welcome back to SOS Stories of Survivors. I'm your host, Serina Dansker, and today it is my absolute pleasure to tell you that our story that we're going to talk about is about courage, discipline, and choosing yourself even when it feels impossible. Tony Terzano is someone who not just lost weight, not just lost over 300 pounds, but he reclaimed his life. And he's a living example that real change is possible if you put your mind to it. And I am so grateful that he's going to tell us about his journey and is trusting us with his story. Anthony, thank you so much for coming.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here. You know, I feel honored that you even would have me on the show. I just want to share with everybody that, we know each other since childhood, and this is a special, special moment. Just the comments that we got. Sandy Lawyer, a dear friend of ours, what she wrote under your thing when you posted that video, Serena, I brought tears to my eyes. I'm going to tell you, it made me feel seen. You understand?
So, and that's the thing, Tony, we're going to talk all about this stuff, but the most important thing is you're going to change lives out there today. And by telling your story, other people are out there and they do see you. And this is what's beautiful about it. And let's talk about that. Before your transformation, before you went through what you went through, what was life like for you emotionally?
I'm going to tell you something. I was in a really, really dark place.
Yeah.
I was suffering. I was tripping over like a hamster. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting to get a different result. I don't want to get into all the circumstances and situations, but basically I was repeating the same behavior over and over again and expecting a different result, which I did not. And then when at the culmination of that, Serena, you get to be 50 years old.
Yeah.
You run, you make geographical changes, wherever you go, there you are. So
exactly.
What? I just had gotten home from Florida, and I was in a place of just utter, complete darkness, 50 years old, 48, 49 years old, not knowing if I would ever achieve more than my immigrant, non-English speaking parents.
Was that when you realized that something had to change?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I got to a point to where it got very dark.
Yeah.
Where something, and it got to the point you either change or die, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so glad that you took the path of change and you followed the inner light that shines so brightly in you. I mean, it always has. Do you feel like you struggled mostly physically, mentally, or spiritually, or?
I was broken completely.
Yeah.
From childhood.
Oh.
Some dark, disgusting things happened to me which should happen to a child. Okay. And you know what? It made me people didn't know why. Why is he so violent? Why does he just snap? Because the old man on the plane touched me and I never told anybody.
Yeah.
You understand? And he looked like my grandfather and he was telling me stories. And now he's doing something that makes me feel weird in my stomach.
Yeah.
Understand? So I don't want to get into the intricacies of it, but a 10-year-old kid gets screwed up in the head a little bit. Who does he tell?
Tell his parents?
The stewardess? It was just me and my brother on the plane. So listen, everybody there's not going to be a discussion about spilt milk, but it's about like a culmination of being broken and chipped away at and not being rebuilt and patched up in a way. Because you know what? People could cry, oh, my mother didn't show up to my baseball game or she never came to my play. My parents and my mother and father loved me the best way they knew how. Okay, they were trying to figure it out themselves.
Oh, that's right. They were, and so let me ask you this. So you're broken. You've gone through life. You've been knocked down like 100 times, right? We've all gone through stuff in our life, right?
Correct.
So what was the turning point that made you finally say, I'm choosing me? Finally, I'm going to stand up for who I am and do what I want and reclaim my life.
Well, you want to know what? When you lock yourself into a room where you choose, you're such a coward that you want to just choose like to eat yourself to death and just basically, just close yourself off from society and just wither away and hopefully you just die because you're even a failure at trying to kill yourself. Okay. And I got to the point to where I was living in my mother's condo and I was, I ballooned. I was always heavy, going fluctuating my weight. After I left the Marine Corps, I got into the restaurant business, and I always went up and down. The winter time, I'd go up and down 80, 90 pounds, but between 325, 330 to 375. But then when I went into my depression, I went into 508 pounds in like 2 years. Didn't leave my bed. I was in total atrophy. And you know what? One of the silver lining in this whole disaster was that I was so heavy and so disgusting that I couldn't move. That the only silver lining was that I learned to have to take every step slowly and patiently, because if I fell, I wouldn't be able to get up. Because one night I fell going to the bathroom at 3 a.m, and it took me 2 hours to get into that bed because I was so fat and disgusting that I almost had a heart attack. And I said to God, if I can get into this bed, I promise you, I will do whatever they tell me. I know it took me 20 years, and that was my depression. My self-talk was like, you stupid bastard. It took you 20 years to get, you think you don't got 20 years to get better. But you know what? God works miracles, because in 5 years, 4 years, I did things that are incredible. Because the whole mindset changes.
What was the hardest part of beginning?
Well, I was going to jump off the balcony. I went over I swear to God, I went over to the balcony. I was going to jump, and then I said, you know what, Tony? You're going to jump off this balcony. You're so goddamn fat. You're going to bounce, and your mother's going to have to wipe your butt. And you know what I said? So I said, I had a George Costanza moment.
Okay.
Tony, I'm going to do the complete opposite. Okay? And that's what I did. I surrendered. I said, I'm doing whatever they tell me. So I got rushed into ICU. Wow. I was in there for a month. They drained 91 pounds of fluid out of my system. From there, I went to an assisted living place and then Haverstraw. And that was in November. And the second week I was there, guess what I saw on the news? We have a case reported of COVID-19.
Oh, God.
And that's what I used to entertain myself. Every day I'd watch this COVID-19. And then all of a sudden, my roommates started disappearing. They would be on nebulizers. And I used to say, hide me. It was a really, it was an assisted living place for people like me, Marines that are on disability, brokesters, you know what I'm saying? Bottom line, but I had an opportunity to get my life back, and I took advantage of it.
That's amazing. Now let's talk a little about your service. I mean, thank you, Tony, for being a Marine and for serving our country.
Well, that was part of my motivation, Serina. I got to tell you, because you know what? When I decided to go in there, and then they put me in this assisted living place, I was in the service. I knew how to rough it out. I knew the system. I knew what was going on. You know me, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to try to figure out, where's the social worker? Get her in here. I want to talk. So I want to see whatever benefits I get, I want to take advantage of. Right. But I was there for 7 months in Haverstraw, okay? And you know what? I wasn't getting I was there on my own. And I said to myself, this is going to be a tremendous journey. I found out, because of all these ailments, I found out I had cardiomyopathy. I didn't know that it was a hereditary DNA kind of thing in my lineage. I got medication. So I got saved by almost dying. Wow. I found out I used to be sleep apnea. That's how I got poisoned, because I didn't know I had sleep apnea. And I was that poison in my air and my lungs poisoned my organs. And when your organs get poisoned, it surrounds itself with fluid. I was drowning in my own fluid.
And this poison was from working, or from?
No, the poison was from when you don't breathe properly in sleep apnea. When you're in your REM and your throat is closed, you got carbon monoxide in your bloodstream. It poisons your organs. You swell up like a balloon.
I had no idea.
Water.
Wow.
And you drowned in your own fluids. Holy. Then I found out that I needed 2 hip replacements. And then I had 14 vein surgeries on my leg. Then I had to reconstruct my intestines. Forget, this has been a wild.
Oh my God. So as you're in the nursing home and you're going through it. I mean, let's just call it what it is.
Yes.
So when did you start to notice, when did the switch go that, like, wait a second, I'm getting better? That where did your mind start to say, I'm seeing a shift in my body?
I started with Bill Butel. Let me tell you something. If I ever get to meet Bill Butel, I'm going to kiss him. I'm going to say, right now, you're honorary Italian, because Bill Butel, he started with that whole kindness, be kind. And you
Yeah.
know what my father used to always say, and my parents would always, being kind costs nothing, but
Right.
low living at a high price.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I paid that price, Serena, and you know I did.
I know.
All right, you know where I come from. You know.
I
Okay?
know. But let's talk about what, losing. Okay, so you're in this place, and you've Bill Butel is the kindness. How did that
Well, the
impact?
kindness made me just realize that, you know what? Why don't you just be kind to yourself? Why
Yes.
don't you give yourself a break? So I started doing a lot of shadow work. I've been through it, okay? As far
Yeah.
as the mistakes that I made in the past, through
Yeah.
being incarcerated
Yeah.
and being put through programs. I'm a day top graduate. I was an addict for
And
years.
there's nothing to be ashamed, because this is
No,
part of your journey,
this
man.
is part of my journey. It's part of
And
my story. I'm a day
exactly.
top graduate. I've been through therapeutic communities, upstate residential treatment, downstate monitored supervision, mandations, rehabilitations, everything that I could try. Even my mother got so involved after my father passed away. She became a facilitator, went down to 40th Street, worked with Monsignor O'Brien, got all the credentials to run our own groups up here in
Wow.
Right Side, up in Hartsdale.
Huh? I
I
know exactly where that is. Sure do.
yeah. So,
That's
you know
amazing.
what? This is part of my I'm creating a platform. I'm going to take this, and this is going to morph into more things that are going to work. I want to make some form of an impact. I
Well,
don't have any children, so I want to be able to touch people.
Let's talk about this transition when you've decided to to self-love, to be kind to yourself.
Yes.
What surprised you most about yourself during this process?
That you want to know something? I finally got to the point where I started remembering,
Mm.
started to remember
Who you
certain
are.
smells, certain scents, certain like things that will make me smile.
Mm.
Understand? Like
Yeah, I do.
remembering certain memories, like when we were playing Kill the Man with the ball, and Jerry V. It was picture day, and Jerry V. was wearing his white Sassoons, and he got tackled, and Nicky was going to fight Nicky Fowler because he got his pants dirty. And I said, "Well, you wore white pants, bro." So remembering things like that,
Stuff that
where
brings
there weren't any
smile,
problems.
right? It's
Right.
so funny. And how did your mindset start to evolve as your body changed?
Because you know what? When you're in desperation and haste, sweetheart, never made a good bargain.
Oh.
Especially when you're making bargains with your biggest enemy, which is your inner me.
Yeah.
My inner me was my biggest enemy.
Yeah. For most of us, we're our own worst critics, right? You could tear yourself apart more than anybody else can tear yourself apart,
That's right. You know what? I love when people try to hurt me with information that I gave them.
Yeah.
They don't understand that they're only letting me know that never to have to deal with them again. Because when people choose to hurt you with information you gave them, they're making a conscious decision to hurt you.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? But it's not really about you, Tony, right? Because if they're making that conscious decision, it's about them. They've got jealousy or envy or whatever it is going on in them that they're taking it out on you. But they cannot harm someone who ends up loving themselves. So let's talk about your mental strength. And you speak a lot about Stoic wisdom and the Stoic principles, right?
Marcus Aurelius,
Yes.
Yes.
Talk about how this helped you stay grounded and what does emotional strength means.
I was a chronic complainer, Serena.
Yeah.
I was a bitcher, little baby brat, spoiled. You know what I'm saying? None. My grandparents, my grandmother knitted my teachers and Mark Twain used to ask me to tell my mother to ask my grandmother to make them a sweater. My mother told them, go take a walk. You understand? Because I'm a straight Gindaloon zip off the boat. My grandmother had chickens on Kimball Avenue. Okay, so and I'm proud of that.
Yeah,
I remember the smell of my grandfather turning the jars of tomatoes in that big thing in the backyard with a big 2x4. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I like the way I grew up. I wouldn't change it for the world. Okay. And when Marcus Aurelius says, don't complain, not even to yourself, that is the deepest statement you could ever make. Okay. That you should be grateful that you woke up today, You seize the day, carpe diem, let's go. You got Roman lineage. I'm going to
God
trust it.
bless.
My
Start every
lineage,
day grateful, right? Every
that's
day,
right.
start it grateful. I agree.
That's it.
100%, man.
Get up and
Right
take
there
it.
with you.
Take it
Yeah,
down. It's
that's
just
it.
take it down. That's it.
Because look, if you're grateful and you learn, I mean, look, I grew up in the same neighborhood as you did, okay?
Couple blocks away.
Yeah, you learn self-love as we get older, and I've learned to appreciate who I am and the journey I've gone through. And I see that you're doing that too. So talk to me, because I know along my journey you have setbacks, right? Doesn't always go, you're taking one step forward at a time, but
I call it contrast.
okay, talk to me about that.
Contrast is like this, honey. For me, I listened to a woman, her name is Abraham Hicks, and she, when I was in the darkest of my despair, recovering from the first hip surgery, I'm sitting in my bed and I'm scared, scrolling through YouTube, and I pushed this video. She said, "Hello, I've been waiting for you." That changed my life. And her name, and you know what? I do her morning meditations. She teaches me about the vortex, and you fill your vortex, your thoughts turn into things. These are the laws of the universe. Okay. So the bottom line is that you got to fill your vortex. What you're talking about is contrast. So you're going to be driving to work. You can be all metaphysically sound, spiritually fit, the whole triangle, happy, joy, just meditated. Right. Some old lady's going to have her left blinker on and she's going to make a right in front of you, Serina. You understand?
I do.
That's called contrast. You have no control over that.
No, you don't.
So
but I think
those are what I call setbacks, because I don't have setbacks because I don't place expectations on nobody else but myself.
Exactly.
I'm not going to disappoint myself anymore.
No,
okay?
You're not. And
I'm done with that.
Exactly. Because you cannot control the old lady, but you can control your reaction to the old lady.
That's Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
You can control your reaction.
Exactly. That's what you do. Now, give me one Terzanoism that helped you during your hardest days.
Be yourself, or you might find yourself all by yourself.
I love
but you want to know what? I found peace and solitude all by myself. But one thing that I learned, that like even like this moment that we're sharing right now, all the tears and the bucketfuls of tears that I have when I cried by myself alone, they're amortizing into ingots of gold, like Cougarans. You understand?
Do.
That's right.
Do.
And you want to know what I'm going to do with those Cougarans? Yeah. I want the people that wanted to see me not make this, and the people that get irritated by my light because I illuminate their darkness, to watch me give it to the people that and it could have been them.
That's
they could have been here.
You're not worthy of it, Tony. And
but what's sad is that love is love. Okay, I don't care if you're Italian, purple, orange, Irish. You're either one of two things in my world, Serina. And can I say it?
Sure, say it.
You're either a piece of shit or you're not.
Yeah, well,
forget about black, white, yellow, purple, migrant, Muslim. You're either a piece of crap or you're not. You're for good or you're for not. You're either blessing somebody or you're not.
Well, that's the thing. And you know what I've learned, Tony? Not everybody is meant to be in our lives our entire life. Some people come in, and there's a reason why they're there, to show us or highlight things along our journey. And then when they're gone, that's okay too. Sometimes it hurts when people leave your life, but that's okay. It's part of the journey, and you learn. You learn how to rely on you, right? Let's talk a little bit about Triple R. Right?
Well,
why was that important for you to create?
See, I do everything, Triple R, Triple B, like remember that other thing of years back, and we're not going to talk about, the Triple B.
I don't even want to go there.
No, but you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Ixnay on the Nixnay. What I'm saying to you is that I see everything in 3, 6, and 9. Everything is sequential. Everything has patterns. So Triple R, Triple B, Triple Z. I like to do like my businesses and my catchphrases, and because I think people remember in those patterns.
Yeah.
And it's whatever resonates with people, something that can make you remember why you came here, because we chose to come. It's 1 in 400 trillion to 1 that you're born.
Yeah.
And so you don't come here, you come here for a purpose. There's a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I already know what mine is. I thought I was trying to define. I was so low that I was in the restaurant business for years as chef, And I always got stagnated. Why I couldn't make this show or get on that show? Because I was still holding on to the corner of the bag. I didn't really let go. I didn't really believe that I could achieve my true potential. So I was still stuck on, stupid and believing how other people viewed me through my mistakes and through my shortcomings, instead of, getting lifted up and surrounding myself. And I was always trying to, be the one to be for everybody else, to fill everybody else's cup. But when it was time to fill my cup, they wouldn't even spit in it. Yeah. And you know what? That pain, listen, when you got to transform from a 500-pound guy that didn't get out of his bed for 2 years, okay, that wouldn't shower for a month at a time, and then his mother and brother sitting next to him saying, like, and I'm like, just leave me alone. I'm not bothering anybody. And your mother's crying, you understand? To where they have to call the ambulance on you to get you out. Like, they even put me in St. Vincent's where they couldn't physically, they didn't have like this, the medical equipment to keep me there. Plus, the guy was like hosing me down like I was like some kind of a farm animal. I threw him down the hallway. Okay, they threw me out of there. So,
but I had to concede. I had to give up. You got through that, and so many people, Anthony, they would not have been able to do it. No. They could not have your.
I'm gonna live on spite.
So talk to me, really real reels. Okay, what does really real mean to you?
Well, listen, it's about being authentic and true. And you know what? Being authentic and true is that, being kind and being nice are two different things. Okay. Yeah. A friend of mine, they'll show niceness, to not disrespect me in front of people that they don't know. But to be kind, they'll tell me, oh, put that sandwich down. You're getting fat. Right. You got to go, you're auditioning for that movie, or you got something coming up. You got to look good. Let's go. Or you better get to the gym, fat boy. You understand? Yeah. And my friends who love me, that's how they're going to tell me, because I respond to that.
Right.
I don't respond. I don't want to be stroked.
No,
I don't want to be manipulated, because I can read right through it. I'm going to be cautious. Then I'm going to push you away from me.
Well, that's the thing. But you know what? Kindness too is, someone on the street just says, you know what? I like your kicks, man. I like your sneakers. They don't know you from Adam, but they're complimenting you.
Yes.
They didn't have to, but they did.
Yeah.
Or they like your glasses, or whatever the hell it is that they compliment you on. Sometimes that'll just put a smile on.
I love empowering somebody. Exactly. You know what I do to people sometimes? Because people are drawn to me, especially children and animals. Oh. But, and somebody will smile, right? I say, hey, listen, I made you smile. She goes, yes, that was really nice. I go, well, you owe me something. They get startled. Well, what do I owe you? I said, make somebody else feel that way to the left, and I'll do it to the right. Oh. And they're like, oh, that's so awesome.
That's so nice.
And that's what I do.
But that's great. And so now you're sharing your truth, right? You're sharing it. You're helping people.
100.
How does that help you heal?
You want it because it reaffirms it for myself. Knowing, listen, there's a difference between believing. That's religion. Religion is believing, and loving Jesus Christ is knowing. You understand? Like knowing that His word, that's the walk, that's the light, that's the road. That's the truth, and that's it. Like my catchphrase, Emerald Lagasse said, "Bam, your mind is hold it," and you got to hold it. Get on the road. It don't matter. You know what? On that road, right? That's illuminated by the light, which is in all of us, which is through Jesus. See, believing is knowing. Believing is the religion, and knowing is the truth. See, religion is church and man. There's a guy talking out of a book, and there's a building you got to go into. Then that's believing, which is okay.
Yeah.
Then there's knowing. All right. So there's people who get put back together like that ancient Japanese tradition, kiboto or whatever it's called, where they put it back together, the pieces, but with
kintsugi.
Kintsugi.
Yes.
Kintsugi. I'm Tony Kintsugi because I lived in Okinawa for 3 years.
Oh my God.
Miyagi.
You are so funny because I totally get that, because it's pottery that's been broken and then they glue it back together with the gold, right? And then
now it's more valuable.
Beautiful. Well, and it's more beautiful, right?
Correct.
The value of it is just beautiful.
Like my mother says, it's more better. It's more better.
I'm more better too, because I was shattered in my life and I've glued myself back together, and now my inner light.
You remember the song remember when we were young? You remember this? Picking up the pieces of my broken dreams, picking up pieces of my heart, right? We got to put it, our heart. Remember, our heart is not a pump. It's actually something that's rolled into a cone just like the shell of a legume, of like a snail, just like the universe. That's what it is. It's a
That's
magnet.
so cool. Oh
Yeah.
my God. So let's talk about this journey. And
Tell me, what do
who
you
are
want
you
to know?
what kind of people are you trying to reach? Who are you trying to reach? Are they young people? Other people?
Right now, I'm going to tell you the truth. I started going to the gym 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
24-hour fitness, got to pump them up. I got to,
Wow.
I started because I wasn't able to work out because I had a serious intestinal,
Yeah.
issues. I had, hernia and bloated out, and I lost all that weight and, the heart issue. And I got all the doctor's permission. I'm going through all the steps. So, the hip surgeries, you can't put too much pressure. You don't want to, I got replacement parts. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
a spring
Sure.
chicken.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 58 years old.
$1 million man.
But I'm going to tell you one thing. When the first kid said to me, "Are you going to be here tomorrow, sir?" I said, "Why?" He goes, "I really like you. I just want to know what time you're going to be here because I want to be here with you." I said, I went into the locker room. I lost it.
I love that.
I lost it. I
I love
lost it.
that.
I lost it.
Oh my God. So you know, Tony, you're amazing. You're a Marine. You're a chef. You're an entrepreneur. How do all those parts
I'm
connect?
trying to be an entrepreneur.
Oh, you are an entrepreneur. You are. You're a go-getter.
I know Freddie Senior. I don't know about entrepreneur. He's still my buddy,
But your past, how has it prepared you to lead others and be there for those
Listen,
kids that you serve?
that's my dream.
Yeah,
You
talk about
just
it.
nailed it, Serena. That is my dream. I want to inspire. I want to inspire. I want to teach. I want men teach men. I want to be a fisher of men. I want to not just give you a fish. I want to teach you how to fish. I want to teach you how to be extremely violent. I want to teach you how to protect your family. I want to teach you how to start a fire, how to sharpen your knife. Because you want to know something, that what the walk that I'm walking right now, I'm looking to start with a friend of mine who's a pastor, Sound Hope Church, Stanley, who I would hopefully one day you would, love, because his story is amazing, from India to New Rochelle, okay, to Salesian High School, the high school that I went to, that he had found that rented their church to him, that we got together. So he's thinking about starting the first Christian counseling,
Wow.
where, guess what you do? Wouldn't that be great to do what you do right here in Westchester,
Yeah.
where there's a need for not somebody that's going to give you a Medicare, somebody who's just punching the clock, listening to you,
No,
that has
real
a
conversation.
semi-psychotherapy degree.
You
We're
want
going to get Christian counseling.
real people, real conversations. I have no degree in this. This is real conversations about life experience that you can share to help others get through their tough, dark and tough
Correct.
times, right? I mean,
Correct.
when when I hear your story and I think about your purpose now, what does that feel like for you in your life? How far you've come? Do
I,
you give yourself that accolade, that love? Because you should, man. You really
I'm
should.
going to just tell you something right now, okay? And as I love your question, and you know what? I already know what's going to happen. And for you to believe in me, to put me in, to share your reputation and your pain that you've gone through, to put me here, that means you believe in me so much that I would never see. I already, the friendship and the love that I have for you, and for what we have for 50 years almost, okay? I
Yeah.
would never, ever destroy that by being anything other than what I am doing right now, which is to leave an impact out here for 500 years or more.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
That's
And I don't, and no, I was upset with Jesus Christ and God. Why couldn't I have a child? I married a younger woman, even someone to make my mother happy. I just saw I could have some children and be a good father. You know what? God, he told me when I calmed down and stopped being a baby and complaining, he said, because you're supposed to touch thousands of children. That's your job. That's why I didn't give you that. You would have been too busy with that, involved in that, let your ego get in that, and then you would have probably, because I would have tried to make him like, the Italian Lawrence Taylor. You understand? The best of whatever you want to be. And that maybe my focus should be geared to kids who never had a father that even wanted to love them like that.
They
to
need
be loved by me.
They need you, Tony. They do.
Yeah. The same way people need. No, they need us. Serena, I look at it like this, and I just want to, stay. I don't want to like stuff my ideology down people's throat, but I believe in Jesus Christ. And I also believe that there's anointed people like us that have the courage to do what we're doing, that we can uplift another person and help them, push them to their purpose instead of denying them and making them feel and keeping them insecure like you, so that you both can't achieve together, so you can feel better about yourself. So just that alone, we're anointed. So there's two kinds of people. There's people that walk in that illuminated path by Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That they're sheep. And what hides in sheep's clothing, Serina?
Wolves, baby, wolves.
Okay, so now alongside those sheep, along that road, there's people like us.
Yeah.
And we're lions. And guess what lions hide in? Lamb's clothing, because we're washed in the blood. And you know how you got washed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what your washing was. Okay. And I know what mine is. My father, I'll show you his picture, blown up, 3rd-degree burns, 95% of his body. And my mother worried about all the paisans at the burn unit in Washington. What am I gonna do? I said, I want them to stop CPR right now. Well, I'm not gonna sign the paper. I signed it. They said, well, you don't have a DNR, Mr. Terzano. I said, DNR, what is that? I just got out of the Marine Corps. I didn't know nothing. I was in Florida. Okay. In trouble because my father sent me there because I did something retarded. Okay. No, to tell. And then I was sent up there. I saw my uncle kicking the milk crates in the back of the restaurant where he was training me to be a chef in Fullerton. Okay. And I said, Uncle Zinuki, que sucesso? What happened? He goes, there's a bigger problem. Your father had an accident. And then he put me on the plane that night. He gave me money. And he said, you got to go there. My father was in the burn unit. And they had to talk to a psychiatrist before I went into his room. Are you kidding me?
Oh, my God.
It was traumatic. And then I signed the DNR 18 days later, 11 operations later. Okay? I was lost in the sauce. I had no male person in my life. And I made some poor decisions after that.
Well, but you got through those. And now this path that you've gone through is what's prepared you to lead others.
So you want to know what it is now that we've been forged in that fire. We walk in that, we're washing that blood. See that I shared my pain, okay? And that's just one of the many. Now, on top of that, we walk alongside because we have a big challenge. We're fit. We're mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially fit, right? So we have a challenge. So we can fill other people's cups. But some of those sheep on that road, sweetheart, Serina, they could only hold a shot glass. That's like I'm going to say you got a shot. He got a shot, but we got to get them to the water, which is the River Jordan. Now, once they're at the water, we can't drink the water for you. You got to scoop your own water. But some people could only hold the water. And we just got to get them there. Okay? And that's it. And ultimately, what they say, the meek shall inherit the earth. You know what makes me meek? That I'm forged in that blood and I have a sharp sword. What makes me meek is I keep it sheathed. I keep it in my pants. Because if my father tells me to go get that guy's sword, when he told David, you want the crown of Israel, you want to wear the crown, you want to be the king, you want this kingdom? He didn't give him a crown, Serina. He gave him Goliath. Go get me his sword.
Yeah.
Go, Jerry. Go see him, Jerry. Jerry would go.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
So remember, everybody need. Remember when we were little? Hey, Jerry, what's the story? Him and Crazy
remember.
Jerry and Crazy Eddie. They knew the deal.
So when someone hears your story, okay, and they're going to hear this story, there's all these listeners that are just going to be like, wow, this guy is friggin' amazing.
No, they're going to say like Michael.
What do you want them to hope or to feel?
I want them to feel that, you know what, that they're enough.
Yeah.
That, you know what, that every once in a while, that every shitty, horrible, disgusting thing that's ever happened to their life, they survived.
Yeah.
They're still here.
Remember that, right? They got through it.
They're still here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was in an awful place doing an awful things that I had a gun to my head. The guy pulled the trigger. I took the gun from him, and I swear to God, it didn't go off.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm here for a reason, and I know it.
Absolutely. What would you say to someone who's going through what you went through, who's stuck in their body or in their life, and they have no way out, and they've got despair, and they have no will?
Get on your knees and humble yourself. Ask God for help all by yourself in the dark. and just listen in the quiet. You will hear so much in silence that you will hear who you are. You'll remember, and eventually you'll get to the point. I feel so powerful. You know what makes me feel powerful, Serina? That I could tell that little boy that it's safe for you. Yo, Tony, I'm winning. Let's go. We're going to Playland. Let's go play. Remember Sunday? We used to either go on Sunday if to the Mamaroneck, to the Italian movies,
Yeah.
or my Playland. Let's go. That's it.
Playland is not the same, man.
But
Playland
I don't care. But when I think of Playland, I think of my grandfather, the
Yeah.
fast horses. I want to go on the fast horses.
I remember that.
Remember? Yeah.
So how does it feel knowing that your transformation is changing lives?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. That's what I see. I think I want that, and that's what I look at for that to be. But
Oh,
to
it's happening.
believe that it's actually happening.
It's
Yeah,
happening.
I find that so hard to believe.
It's happening, Tony. Embrace it, man. It's happening. You have an incredible story. Your courage, your transformation, your beliefs are changing lives.
That's so beautiful.
It is. It's amazing, right?
Yeah,
I guess let's have a little fun. Let's talk a little bit about one word that would describe your past self. Who you were, one word.
Monster.
And what describes your present self?
Definitely illuminated.
Yeah, baby, exactly. And one word for your future self. What do you want? One word for the future.
My own hero.
Oh, honey, that's beautiful.
Yeah, the future me is my hero. The man that I want to be, the man that I would love to make my son to be, or whoever I'm mentoring to be. Exactly. I want to bring out the best in whoever I'm around.
All your children,
that's right. I can make somebody be their best version of themselves.
Yes.
That's what a father does.
Exactly.
I don't have to be his biological father.
No, you don't.
You know.
Absolutely.
You know what I love? You know what I loved about the Marines, especially about drill instructors? And this is my philosophy. Hate me now, love me later.
You're so funny. What is strength? Strength. Finish the sentence. Strength to you means
discernment, knowing when not to speak and when not to react.
And what about healing?
Excuse me?
What about healing? What does healing mean to you?
Total humility. Healing is asking yourself every night at the edge of the bed, introspection, being able to ask yourself, what do I need to get better with? Because there's no landing zone, Serina.
No.
There's no destination here. There's forever progressing, forever moving forward.
Oh, man.
Okay, if we come onto this planet to this universe as a snowflake, which is a unique, unlike only one ever, just like our DNA, and we land on the highest mass, which is, let's say, Kilimanjaro, K12, right? You land on there. That snowflake turns into a drop. That precipitation rolls down to a little trickle. It trickles down to becomes a creek and a river, and all of a sudden it gets to the ocean. When it gets to the ocean, it says, "Oh my God, I don't know. I'm scared. I'm going to go into the ocean." You are the ocean.
You've been through it all, right?
You are the ocean.
This whole journey has brought you full circle to where you are now.
Yeah.
I gotta say, you are incredible. I mean, your story.
You're not so bad yourself, Serina.
But your story reminds me that survival isn't just about staying alive; it's about living your life and becoming alive again, and your courage and your kindness. I end every episode with a poem from my son who's passed away. He used to write poetry as a way for him to heal. And I picked this one especially because it really reminds me of you and how we started this conversation. It's called Kindness, and it goes like this. Things I associate with the word kindness are also things that make people's lives enlightened. When I commit an act of kindness, I can't stop but feel excitement. The way someone's smile will widen, makes these, and their face will glow like lightning. It makes these acts of appreciation really worth trying. It's almost like looking over the horizon, and it creates a sensation of people being united. And that's really what it's all about, man, right?
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for your courage, your honesty, your willingness to tell your story, lead with truth and changing lives. And thank you for showing us that no matter how heavy your burdens are, freedom is always possible. Thank you so much, Tony, for
It
being
was
my
an
guest.
honor and let me tell you that I feel, I don't know, I could say really even more enlightened. I feel inspired. Like you motivated me so much just to stay on the path that I'm on and to continue this.
You are incredible.
Really, I can't believe that the time just flew by. This was magical.
It is incredible, and I thank you so much, Tony, for all you do. Really, I appreciate you.
And that the feeling's mutual. Listen, iron sharpens iron. That's all there is to it.
Well
I
said, man.
really appreciate you, and I'm really looking forward to to really to collaborate and to continue working together and just continuing this friendship along this journey.
Always. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Serina.